Now, guys, this question, it's 2018 question 4F. It came in from the Right Honourable James J. Webb. And basically, the question reads, during the Olympics in Rio in 2016, the water in some swimming pool and diving pools turned green. Sodium hypochlorite in the pools had reacted with hydrogen peroxide, which was added in error, and this allowed the rapid growth of green algae. The reaction that occurred was, and they give us the reaction, which I've written down here, and they say use oxidation numbers to show whether chlorine was oxidized or reduced. Okay, first thing you have to do, guys, is assign oxidation numbers to everything. Okay, this is the easiest way of doing this. Okay, you can just try and assign the oxidation numbers to the chlorine, but we won't worry about that. Okay, we'll just do the whole shebang while we're here. So the rules for assigning the oxidation numbers are on page 206 there, guys. On page 206 there, your textbook. Okay? So each one of those rules, if you're assigning oxidation numbers, and if you're balancing equations, which tends to go up in question 10, question 11, using oxidation numbers, the hardest part of the whole thing, or the longest, most time-consuming part of the whole thing of balancing equations using oxidation numbers is assigning oxidation numbers using the rules. Okay? So that's the first thing we're going to do. Okay, so all the rules are on page 216. So I'm going to go down here. Here's my equation written out again. Now, my pointer pen. So sodium, guys, is a group 1 element. So sodium always has an oxidation state of +1. Thankfully, they're nice and constant. Okay. Now, oxygen is always -2. Okay, except in two very specific situations. Okay, let's move this sheet down a small bit. Won't ruin the surprise. So oxygen is always -2 except in two very specific situations. The first situation is when it's bonded to fluorine. Fluorine being the most electronegative element in the periodic table. So that's fluorine with an F. Okay, fluorine. When it's bonded to fluorine, it has an oxidation state of +2, okay? But it's not bonded to fluorine, so it's -2. The other situation is actually in this, in hydrogen peroxide. When oxygen is in hydrogen peroxide, it has an oxidation state of -1. That's the reason I circled that there, because it's one of those, it's always except kind of special conditions. So that's grand. So chlorine is a halogen. Now, halogens are always -1, except when they're bonded to a more electronegative element. Well, oxygen is more electronegative than chlorine. Okay, so chlorine in this situation, when it's in the hypochlorite, has an oxidation state of +1. So we can skip across to this side of the equation, and we're just going to focus on the chlorine and the sodium here, because we don't need to worry about the rest of it. But I have assigned the oxidation numbers to the rest. Okay. Sodium is a group 1 element, always +1. Always +1. So in this case, chlorine, which is a halogen, it's not bonded to a more electronegative element, so therefore it has an oxidation state of -1. And as well as that, if you were to follow rule 4, the sum of all the oxidation numbers of an uncharged molecule have to add up to 0. So if this is +1, this has to be -1 in order for it to add up to 0. So you can see that the oxidation number of the chlorine changes from +1 on this side to -1 on this side. What does that mean? Its oxidation number has decreased. So we could say that it has been reduced. Okay, because that's one definition. So reduction is a decrease in the oxidation number. Also, if we go with our old acronym, OIL RIG, oxidation is losing electrons, reduction is gaining electrons, and keep in mind, electrons have a negative charge. So in this situation, our chlorine here has picked up 2 electrons. It has picked up 2 minuses to become -1. So we can say fairly handily that the chlorine has been reduced. Okay. As I said, guys, if you have any questions you're not sure of, I guarantee you that people, like more than one person in the two classes will have a similar question, or will have so if you put up a question on the team group, I will answer it in a video form like this. Okay. Keep working away. Keep trying doing the exam papers. Freya put up a thing about a Zoom Yokin that's on. I think it's on Friday, possibly on Saturday. If I have time, I'll check into it myself. But you know, I've sold my 2 children for the next couple of hours so I can get a bit of work done. So if you have any questions, make sure that you email them to me or put them in our team, and that way I can go through it. If I can answer it straight up with text, I will. If it's something like a calculation like this, I'm going to go through it. With the video. Okay, guys. So stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.